Welcome to the second installment in this series about Moliere's The Imaginary Invalid. I'm Mechele Leon of the University of Kansas. In 2016, I directed a production of this classic comedy for the University Theatre in Lawrence, Kansas. The clips you'll see are from that production. Moliere's critique of the medical profession is all over his plays, but not only those with doctor in the title, like Flying Doctor or The Doctor in Spite of Himself, but also in Don Juan, The Forced Marriage, Amphitryon, and many others. Molière knew all too well what medicine was made of. He suffered from serious health problems at least as early as 1665. His tuberculosis, likely contracted during his years touring the French provinces, plagued him for a decade until his death in 1673. Molière portrays doctors as pretentious academics, money-loving, pompous charlatans who sell cures that are more harmful than helpful. Like all good satire, it is grounded in reality. To be a doctor in 17th century France was more an academic profession than a clinical one. Doctors drew their authority over others from an esoteric and practical education that was based on ancient Greek and Latin texts. They were hostile to innovation and bloated with self-importance. In the century before the Enlightenment, medicine was more pretense than expertise, and Molière knew this all too well. Let us recall the plot. Argan intends to marry his daughter, Angelique, to Thomas Diaphorus, a young doctor, fresh from his studies, which he barely passed. In this first clip, you'll see Thomas greeting his future father-in-law in the bloviated prose of academic presentation. Then he boasts that he recently defended his thesis against the idea of the circulation of the blood, which was already proven in 1628. Then Thomas and his father, the elder Diaphorus, proceed in a medical examination of Argan, in which Thomas takes Argan's pulse, and from that deduces that Argan has a fever in his spleen.
Sir, I come to salute, recognize, cherish, and revere in you, a second father, to whom I'll be bold to say I am more indebted than to my first. The first begat me, but you have adopted me. He received me by necessity, you accepted me by choice. What I have from him is of the body, what I have from you is of the will. And by how much the mental faculties are superior to the corporeal, by that much am I more indebted to you. And by so much do I hold as more precious this future filiation, for which I on this day do come to pay you beforehand the most humble and most respectful homage. I have supported a thesis against the proponents of circulation, which, with the gentleman's permission, I make bold to present to you, and I invite you to come and see for your diversion the dissection of a woman, upon which I am to present lectures. The gentleman's pulse is the pulse of a man who's not well.
Good.
That it is hard-ish, if not to say hard.
Oh, very well.
Recoiling.
Correct.
And even a little erratic.
Optimum.
And shows a temperature in the parenchyma splenicum, that is to say, the spleen.
Very good.
Molière's strongest ridicule is reserved for purging, the basis of medical practice of his time. Here is a scene in which an apothecary arrives to give Argan his enema, and then the threats that are rained upon him by Dr. Purgon after Argan refuses this prescription.
You deaf Shirley! Can't you be one moment without a prayer?
I must tell you that I now abandon you to your evil constitution, your intemperate bowels, the corruption of your blood, the acrimony of your bile, and the feculence of your humor.
Oh, heavens!
And it is my will that within 4 days' time you enter an incurable state.
Mercy!
That you fall into a bradypepsia.
Dr. Bergen!
And from a bradypepsia to a dyspepsia.
Dr. Bergen!
From a dyspepsia to an apepsia.
Dr. Bergen!
From an apepsia into a lean terrier.
Dr. Bergen!
From a lean terrier into a dysentery.
Dr. Bergen!
From a dysentery into a dropsy.
Dr. Bergen!
And from a dropsy into a death where your folly will end you!
While the character of a charlatan doctor was a staple of Italian commedia dell'arte, what makes Molière's art so interesting is that he went beyond this stereotype by writing about medicine itself. Listen to this last clip from a conversation between Argon and his brother Berald, a critic of medicine.
You have no faith then in medicine?
No. And I don't find it a necessary faith for my salvation.
What? You don't trust something that is established throughout the world and has been practiced for centuries?
Far from trusting it, I look at it as one of the greatest follies of man. To consider it philosophically, I don't know of a more pleasant piece of theater, anything more ridiculous than the idea that one man should undertake to cure the illness of another.
Why don't you believe that one man may cure another?
For this reason. Because the workings of this machine is a mystery that man can scarcely understand, and because nature has thrown before our eyes too thick a veil to know anything about it.
The physicians know nothing then, in your opinion?
Oh, they talk a good Latin. Name all the diseases in Greek and define and distinguish them, but as for curing them, that's what they don't know at all.
But nevertheless, you must agree, brother, that in this matter, doctors know more than other people.
All their art consists of is pompous nonsense and specious babbling, which gives you words instead of reasons and promises instead of effects.
But, brother, in sickness, all the world relies on physicians.
That's a mark of human weakness, not evidence of the truth of their art.
But physicians must believe in the truth of
This scene is quite remarkable for its time, because Molière understands medicine as consent, as an agreement founded on belief. A few lines later, Berald will argue that only nature can heal. While today we rarely advise anyone to just let nature take its course, we realize that there are limitations to medicine, and studies of the placebo effect today are proving just how much healing is based on belief. Molière's play reminds us how remarkable it is that one person undertakes to cure the illness of another. Next week, we'll look more closely at the matter of children and disobedience, a feature in so many of Molière's plays. For more about the actors and designers of this production, please visit kutheater.com.